Hello, everyone, and good afternoon to all of you. Welcome to Season of Agents, a virtual event dedicated to exploring the dynamic world of intelligent agents, automation, and the future of AI powered productivity. Today, we are delighted to join Devesh Jain, who will take us on this exciting journey. So, before handing over the session, let me introduce our expert speaker. Devesh Jain is technology specialist at Reddington Limited, and he'll be taking us on this exciting journey of AI agents. So, without any further ado, let's jump right into it.
Okay. So I think I'm clearly audible, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. So for today's topic, I have chosen building applications with GitHub Copilot agent mode because I feel that is the most practical aspect as compared to any other thing. Because in terms of a day-to-day life as a developer, the first most pragmatic aspect is going to be based on the aspect that we need something that helps us identify errors more. See, AI can be an extension of us. It is becoming an extension of us. The type of technological things it is there, the way it is summarizing things, the way it is articulating everything in a way where you can learn as well as implement it on the same time to the best of the specifications because it has taken that time to grasp that knowledge and it is giving you the fullest of like the best thing that it can. So that is what it is about. So yeah, I will love to present my screen now. Right. Give me a second. I will just close my camera. Okay. So, hello everyone, and thank you for being here today. We are at an exciting time in software development where AI is no longer just a concept or a tool for the future. It is here and it is already changing the way we write, debug, and manage code. Today, I'm going to talk about one of the most powerful AI tools available in the developers community right now. That is the GitHub Copilot. That is, and specifically its agent mode. We're taking developer assistance to a whole new level. We will basically talk and have a look at at how Copilot has evolved from a smart autocomplete tool into a true AI powered partner that can basically perform complex development tasks through natural language processing. And we will also learn how to integrate and build using these agents, like basically these agent modes to boost your productivity, to reduce manual effort and bring intelligence right now into your dev workflow. And before we jump into the technical aspects, let's have a quick look at the history of GitHub Copilot to understand how we got here. So, the evolution of GitHub Copilot. Now, before we dive into this, let's take a minute to sharpen a like basically I would like to share a brief history of GitHub Copilot and how it became such a transformative tool for developers. Now, GitHub Copilot was first launched in 2021 as in collaboration between GitHub, OpenAI, and Microsoft. It was designed to act like a pair programmer that lives inside your code editor and basically like it helps you with suggesting the whole lines or even the entire functions as you type. And the underlying technology was based on a larger AI model that has a very broad range of public code available through GitHub repositories. Now, by 2022, GitHub had become widely used tool among developers for accelerating coding tasks. It helped you improve your productivity, and he will help beginners learn programming because many times there's so many questions about the other aspects where we talk about whether it is good or not, whether the statistics. Earlier, we had to research everything out. We had everything to research, like every single aspect. If we wanted a roadmap, we have to go on a different website and research about it. After that, which roadmap works for us? We did not have someone whom we can talk to. That is the reason in the earlier times, mentors and still today, mentors are something that was of a greater value because having that helped you divide that aspect into half. Like it helped you navigate into something, and there was someone that is guiding you. So I think AI and particularly the GitHub Copilot, it is something that can help you out in that, and it is something that makes you a sure. sure, good developer and a person who understands everything. Because writing everything manually is not something that is required today. We don't require everything that is meant to be written by something. Like if we talk about the manual aspects, it is something we can do it, we can get it done, not a big deal. But if you talk about the mind of it, we are becoming the mind of AI. And while becoming the mind of AI, you are able to get the automations and everything done, as well as maintain your skill set. Like having it is having an extra arm. You can get one more thing done. And in this case, you have multiple. You can get multiple things done. Then, if we talk about the Copilot chat, in 2023 and 24, GitHub basically began evolving Copilot into a more than just a code assistant. It became a full-featured AI developer experience with the introduction of GitHub Copilot X and most recently GitHub Agents. These agents aren't just reactive; they can perform tasks like literally writing tests, fixing bugs, explaining code, or even running terminal commands, all through just the natural language prompts. So today we are not just going to look at an autocomplete tool. We are exploring an AI agent that can collaborate with us and across the entire development lifecycle. So let's see how we build it. Now, if we talk about this, GitHub Copilot's agent mode is such a powerful leap forward that at its core, agent mode transforms Copilot from passive code suggester into a autonomous code partner. Like it has the capabilities of understanding goals, planning tasks, executing actions, and even correcting itself at times. And in terms of scalability, definitions, documentations, what is doing what. Like many times, what we have seen is if a code runs, don't touch it. That has been the norm. Because in tech, there is nothing called as foolproof. There's everything. In terms of cybersecurity, there are zero-day bugs. In terms of the other aspects, we have your vulnerabilities. There are many things that many times can be looked that can be a problem. So in this case, it is helpful for us that we can just think of working on it without having to think that we have lost something, because AI is going to the part where we do not think about it. So the first aspect is going to be goal definition. It all starts with a high level language, like a high level natural language prompt. Like for instance, you could say implement user authentication, and the agent will understand and help you over achieving this goal. The other part would be plan generation. Like based on that input, the agent doesn't just start coding immediately. Instead, it creates a structural step-by-step plan that might include setting up routines, handling sessions, integrating a login form, or connecting to a database. Because there are many times you have to remember everything and all that. With this, you don't have to remember everything. You need to remember just the specifics and how the thing is working, and you're good to go. Even the next aspect would be task is execution. Like once the plan is that in place, like what you have to do, the scalability, the space type complexities, the algorithms, they are done. We are done with the thing. Now we are implementing. It can directly modify your code base and run commands in the terminal and even interact with your IDE tools, like just like a developer would. So you can understand how much power and how much permissions it holds and how much help it can do. Even the next part will also be a little shocking, because it also does self correction. What really sets basically the agent mode apart is its ability to iterate. If an error occurs during execution, whether it's a failed test or a runtime exception, the agent analyzes the feedback and adjusts its plans and tries again. Just like us, we cannot write the best code in once. We learn, we understand what is the problem, and then we move forward. So this is how even the AI is doing it. So instead of just writing individual lines of code, you're collaborating with an AI that can understand intent, plan intelligently, and execute across tools and improve itself. This means faster development, fewer repetitions, and more time for creative problem solving. Now, the capabilities of AI. Now, we should understand how agent mode operates. Let's break it down. Its key capabilities that makes it a game changer for developers. First, task planning. The agent is capable of decomposing high level goals into smaller executable subtasks. Whether you're asking it to implement a feature or refactor a module, it builds a structural plan for taking action. Code generation and modifications. This isn't just limited to a single function or file. Agent mode can generate, update, and refactor code across multiple files. So maintaining a consistency throughout the code base. Now, content awareness. Unlike a simple autocomplete tool, it understands the full structure of a repository, including project architectures, file relationships, important libraries, and existing logic. So this allows it to make informed decisions. Like many a times, if we just write ChatGPT to make something, it will give you a very generic code. It will be good, but it will be generic. Or if you talk about something like this, if it is not that good, it will just give you something that is in general. You have to edit it out according to you. Like what do you think as the best? You have to use. But in this case, you don't. You have to just include it in that and be good to go. So this is how powerful it is. Now, tool use. If you talk about agent modes tools, it can interact with your external tools as well. It can run terminal commands. It can execute scripts, like perform builds as well. It can run tests and even trigger debuggers, all within the development environment without you touching anything. So this is how it is working. Self correction, as we had talked about earlier, when it counters an error, like when it encounters an error, whether from the terminal, a test failure, or a runtime issue, it doesn't stop. It analyzes the error, fixes uh, the problem, and attempts to rerun the task, make it more resilient and iterative. Just like it is said to be a pair programming as well, right? What do we do in pair? One writes it, one tests it, one writes it, one tests it, vice versa. So something like that. That is why it is said it is a pair programmer that is built in within your code base within your land. So that is what it is making it very different. In terms of interactive dialogues as well, if your request is ambiguous, agent mode can pause and ask for clarification as well. So this means it feels less like a tool and more like a collaborator. That is what is setting it apart. So in short, agent mode combines deep code, its understanding with anonymous task execution and conversational interaction, and bringing AI driven development to a whole new level. So the next part is going to be how agents mode works, the goal oriented workflow. Now, the aspect over here is we have to take a closer look at how agent mode functions in practice through what we call a goal-oriented workflow. It begins with the user prompt. For example, add a new API endpoint for user profiles updates. That's a high-level instruction, but from there, agent mode takes over because first thing it does is agent plans. The agent basically is breaking the request into specific tasks. It might decide it needs to update routine.py to define the endpoint, modify models.py to handle any schema changes, and add logic to views.py. This is how it is done. This is what it knows. The other aspect would be acting. So based on that plan, it executes the changes, it writes and modifies code, and run tests, even interacts with the terminal if needed. So such as restarting a local server or installing a dependency, it can do it all. This is how powerful and capable it is. If we talk about the NIS aspects, like we had talked about, it reiterates, it has self correction capabilities, meaning after execution, it doesn't assumes success. The agent reviews the output. Did the code compile? Did the test pass? Were there any runtime errors? It checks it all. And if it is there, it redefines. Meaning, if it finds the problem, it reiterates. It might refactor the code, suggest a fix, or if something's unclear, ask you for clarification. So this feedback loop continues automatically until it reaches a stable working solution until you choose to intervene with it. So the control is still in your hands. So this continuous loops, plans, acts, observe, and refines allows agents to uh, work more like a junior developer that's capable of learning from results and improving in real time. Now, in this, let's explore a highly practical use case for agent mode. That is your rapid feature prototyping in a production level code base. So imagine you have tasks for developing a new dashboard module for an existing web application. This would normally involve setting up both front end and back end endpoints and components, integrating their current architecture, and handling routines and data flow. With GitHub Copilot agent mode, you start by giving it a simple high level instruction like add a new dashboard module to user activity database. Now, here's what happened under the hood. First, the agent scaffolds necessary files. Like what are the necessary files? It's finding it. So that would be your, for instance, dashboard.py for for root logic, dashboard.html for front end, and dashboard.css dot for styling. Then it im- it imports and extends existing modules such as user or activity log or context for your repository to generate ORM queries or serializing where applicable. So the next aspect would be it if backend servers aren't ready yet, the agent generates mock data structures and integrates with dummy endpoints using tools like Faker, mock APIs via JSON server or fast API. So you can understand whatever you had to set up, it is getting it done. This is how powerful it is. In terms of your front end, it creates basic UI components, often using frameworks like Bootstrap, Tailwind if detected, and injects placeholder logic where dynamic content will go. So the majority of the CSS is either like majority that I have personally seen is going to be through Tailwind, CN, or any other thing that is opening up. It is even understanding whether it is what type of CSS you are using and then coding in that. How cool is that? So this is how powerful it is. Now it also registers routes with the appropriate blueprint or even like a view configuration as well. Whether it's Flask, Django, React, or Next router, ensuring the module is accessible and testable immediately. So you know how much time you are saving because that time doing all this is going to take at least 2 to 3 business days. If you are like having no errors, if you're getting an error, God knows how long it will gonna take. So yeah. So this automated workflow eliminates repetitive boilerplate and reduces your initial feature setup time by up to even 70%, making it ideal for quick iteration during model MVP development, hackathons, or internal tooling builds. It's not just code generation; it's structured, content-aware, and fully integrated development assistance. So now we talk about use cases like this automatic bugs fixing and refiring. Like suppose there is a scenario where you have to fix a null pointer exception report in production log. That basically normally would involve manually scanning logs, tracing the exception back through several files or functions, writing a patch, and then testing the fix. Now, with the agent mode, you can initiate the process using a natural language prompt like fix the null pointer exception in the user profile handler seen in the production logs. Now, here's what the agent will do. Firstly, analyze the stack trace, locate the error, and locate the error in the source code. And basically, it traces the method calls, inspection work, control flows, and pinpoints that will likely run a null reference. It suggests concrete fixes such as interesting null checks using optional wrapper that is there in Java, or safe navigation operators that is in Kotlin or Python. So depending on the language and the code style as well, it will understand. Even the agent then applies their fix directly, edits the relevant files, run the unit tests or integration tests to validate that the issue has been resolved without introducing regression in this. And even the best part of it is with GitHub. So the content, the editing you are doing and everything, it is getting logged as well in your GitHub. You are able to have a version control of when you did what. So that is also a good thing. I feel. Now, even beyond the immediate fix, it can identify similar anti-patterns that basically run across the code base. For example, unchecked reference in the same module, and suggests a small-scale refactor to improve code reverseness. This level of automation accelerates basically the resolution time by 30 to 50% for common runtime errors like null difference, dereferences, type mismatches, or improper error handling. What's more is by consistent applying. refactor scaling changes and all that. Agent mode helps you not only fix bugs but also maintain a more stable production level code base over time. Now, basically, now to let's wrap up the capabilities. Let's look at the real-time impact. Agent mode has a develop. Basically, agent mode has a development team, especially at sales, because it will impact all the development teams that are there. So these aren't just theoretical improvements; they reflect measurable gains in productivity, code quality, and and team collaboration. Now, the first good thing about it is two times faster onboarding. Basically, new developers no longer have to spend days or weeks understanding complex databases in their own. Basically, first of all, you have to understand the code that was previously written to understand it, right? To work further on it and make sure you're not breaking anything. This is where it will help you understand what is doing what. So, with agent modes, contextual awareness, and inline explanations, they can ask natural language questions like generate, start a code, and get unstuck quickly. So it's accelerating the time that it is going to take you to understand everything. So this is where even 30% reduction in context switching. Basically, what happens is traditionally developers have to jump between codes, docs, terminals, browsers, and project boards. With agent mode, you can do is that within the IDE it is embedded, so that can handle multi-step tasks like debugging, testing, modifying multiple files, etc., without leaving the environment. That this defocus time translates to higher output and 50% boost in code quality. The agent proactively suggests best practices, design patterns, and even aligning or formatting improvements before code is committed. It can also identify and fix subtle issues like conditions, and it can help you even linting and formatting improvements before code is committed. It can also identify your and even fix your subtle issues like race conditions, improper exception handling, or unsafe type usage. In addition to all this, agent mode automates repetitive boilerplate like setting up routers, services, or testing scaffolds, allowing developers to focus on high level architecture. And the result of all this, faster iterative cycles, fewer bugs in production, and a development culture that promotes experimental and continuous development. If we talk about the best practices, the best practices, while like GitHub Copilot agent is powerful, using it efficiently means understanding both its strength and its current limitations. So let's go over some bit by bit. Now, the first is be clear with your prompts. The clearer you are with your natural language instructions, the better the agent's output. That includes your intent, scope, context, etc. Instead of just saying add login, say add JWT JavaScript Web Tokens based login flow with token expiry and refresh support. So you're giving them more context to do what, else it will assume everything. So this is not something that is going to be very fruitful because we don't assume everything. We need documentation, right? That is where review all the generated code. So like treat agent as a helpful collaborator, not an infallible compiler. Like you need to always have a review what is done, and the logic it ensures that it aligns with the business requirements and secure coding standards. Okay. Even like test early and often keeping code bases clean and documented. These are the best practices that is. Now, if you talk about the limitations, it is not suitable for highly ambiguous problems because if you talk about replacing for a human judgment, the agent may suggest insecure patterns or overlook edge cases that always apply engineering judgment for this, especially for critical systems like authentication, payments, or data handling. So even requires significant guidance for novel challenges because while it's great for like basically like general programming tasks, it might lack deep knowledge of project specific business logic or niche frameworks unless they are well documented in the repo. Even if we talk about the version and dependency awareness, the agent might always resolve compatibility issues with the third party libraries unless errors are explicitly surfacing through the execution. Basically, in short, agent mode is a productivity accelerator, not a autopilot. When used with care and awareness, it becomes strategic partner in writing cleaner, faster, and more maintainable code. Now, the future of software development. As we look towards the future, it's clear that software development is undergoing a fundamental transformation. One driven by the rise of AI powered tools like GitHub Copilot Agent. Traditionally, software engineers have been focusing heavily on like writing and debugging lines of code. But with the advances in AI, this paradigm is shifting. The focus in moving from simply writing to defining clear, more level intended and business objective cases. Because developers will increasingly act as designers, architects, and reviewers of AI generated code rather than just typing it every time manually. This is what it is going to do. Now, the recent industry study shows that the tools like GitHub Copilot can increase productivity by up to 55% on average, and agent mode is poised to push that even further by automating entire workflows and allowing developers to design more time on problem solving, creative designing. So in the future, the role of the developer expands, uh, and you become the strategic thinker who defines the why and what, while the AI takes care of the how. This division of labor can unlock innovative and speed at scales that were previously impossible. Moreover, like if you talk about the architecture review, the developers are leveraging AI for execution and becoming architects, like I had just said. Now, there might be a say that AI agents acts as a 10 times engineer on like an AI collaborator that amplifies your coding speed, accuracy, and creativity. It handles boilerplate, error checking, and even testing. So you can focus on architecting scalable systems, refining user experiences, and driving product. But this future is not about replacing humans. It's about augmenting human creativity and expertise with AI. The best developers will be those who can effectively collaborate with these AI agents, guiding them with clear intent and making sure that they can amplify creativity where AI can also go towards. We have to be where AI does not think of. We will be that brain of AI. So basically, now we have covered the history, capabilities, and impact of agent modes. Let me show you how the it basically works in practice. This will be a little demo and basically show you what I had. Are there any questions right now? No. Okay. So this is an application that I had taken the help of. You can see there are some errors going on over here and things like that. This is basically a Munstack application where so as you can see, this is something that we have done. There were no products right now, so I had just done something like this. The basic things. Now, in this, if I have a particular line of code that needs editing in terms of your components, so I can just, if I have a particular line I want to edit, I can just go to over here. I have this option. So you can see as well, destructuring products from state without a default value can cause a runtime error if states is undefined, causing providing a value like cons, landing, error, products, and something like this. It will help us understand it better. I can just click on apply and see it is now. doing a better job. Because now it says it has done that successfully. And now, if we have to check, you can see as it is written over here, explain. So this code defines a functional React component called home, and if I click on this, it will take me over here. So it says now it says we can see that uses several React and Redux hooks to manage state and side effects. The use alert hooks provide a way to display alert messages, while use dispatch and use selector are used to interact with the Redux store. Specifically, use selector extracts the loading error and products properties from the product slice of the Redux state and defaulting to an empty array for products if the state is undefined. This component filters the products array into three separate arrays: men, women, and kids based on the type that is written over here. You can see the filters are over here. As you're filtering the item, that is basically based on what the type is. That is going to be sent by your Redux. As you can see in this, there's a lot of things going on. Whether login request is there, register if this is a case of like if we have to register it, whether we have to load it, it is returning is authenticate is false. All these we are doing it so that in the front case we can check this and give whatever the output has to be. So if I just click on this, it's saying reviewing selected coding user. So what is it is saying is the initial state uses user curly braces, considering using user null for consistency with other reducers, unless you rely on object shape elsewhere. So I can just click on apply and it is getting it done. The same over here. I'm not clicking on. I'm just clicking on next and it is still seeing it. So this is on the real time. It is checking as well. So this is how it good it is. It's because it is written the add context. I can just go on. See, could you please verify? MongoDB is not running. We are able to find the error. So I'm like, oh, I might have not opened the mic. I have not opened it. I will just connect it and be good to go. If I go ahead, Am I getting the same error now? No, I'm not. So this is how it is helping you. It can even be like generate docs. Now it is, now as I told, it is a helpful field, but you need to make sure it is working, because now it gave me it in MongoDB, but it is not right to keep it away. I can create a separate file for it. Okay, we again have an error. Now let's ask this. Okay, now it is saying you haven't that error. It is saying it has already been started. Now if we go over here and try it. Now, if I had to find it, I might have searched this. If I was a new developer, I might have not known about it. So I would have been like, where is the error? Like copy pasting it all. And what happens when if we copy paste it all? It does not show up on the Google or somewhere else. So this is where it has been helping. It's been a very big helping hand. Even in terms of this, I'm like, it said I had a typo, and that could have later on created the issue. So now, this is where it has been helpful, and I would suggest you have an idea. You can be like, so now you also got user model. It has seen that we are using Mongo's, that is MongoDB's connector. It is giving us in that. It is giving us the routes in ExpressJS because we are using MERN, and it is giving authentication middleware, protected routes as well, and integrating with everything. So this is how powerful and good it is. So yeah, that's all from my side. If there have any questions, please let me know. Hello, are there any questions? Um, I think if there are no questions, we can stop this. Okay, so thank you everyone for joining. Have a nice day. Thank you.